listening to The Wellness Project. I'm your host, Des, and we are powered by Spotlight Coalition. Welcome to episode 100. Hello, and welcome to episode 100. Thank you so much for being here today. Wow, 100 episodes. 100. I cannot believe it. Thank you so much to those that have been with me from the beginning, those that have listened to all 100 episodes. I know that you're out there. I really, really appreciate your love and support. And thank you so much to those that are even listening to this episode for the first time or have just found this podcast. I couldn't have gotten to this point without you, my listeners. My first episode launched back in January of 2020, but I had recorded quite a few episodes at the end of 2019, but I hadn't posted them. I had some imposter syndrome, I had some anxiety, and I had some tech anxiety as well. I didn't exactly know how to post a podcast, how to record a podcast, so I do have to give a major shout out to my boyfriend, Mark, because without him, this podcast either wouldn't be possible or at the very least would have been highly, highly delayed because I am not a very techie person. I can get by, but definitely would have had a difficult time getting a podcast going without him. And to this day, I still run into technical difficulties, which he is always helping me out with. So shout out to him. If you've been listening from the beginning, you will know that I actually started out doing movie reviews. I have since deleted those episodes, so my podcast actually starts out on episode 5 on my streaming platforms. In high school, I wrote a movie review column, and in college, I had a movie review YouTube channel. I absolutely loved doing those things. I'm a big movie watcher. I'm not so much a TV show watcher. I always prefer a movie over a TV show. So I thought that I wanted to continue doing movie reviews. But after a few episodes of doing movie reviews, something didn't feel quite right. If you've been in my Facebook community for a long time, you will know that it actually started out as a place for people to share their passions and hobbies, because that is something I also love as a multi-passionate person. I have all these different things I'm interested in, all these different hobbies, all these different passions, and I really love hearing about other people's passions and hobbies. So that's what I actually started my Facebook community out as. So then it just made sense to start interviewing people about their passions and hobbies. Now, it's been a dream of mine for a long time to interview people about their lives, about their stories. When I was in either middle school or high school, I dreamed about having my own talk show. That was like the big dream, my goal for life. So it was a really big step and really exciting for me to start interviewing people. As I said, I started interviewing people about their hobbies and passions. But it was really interesting because mental health and wellness came up in almost every conversation. Things like self-esteem, self-doubt, anxiety, imposter syndrome, depression. I am a social worker and I've worked as a mental health therapist for many years, and now I provide the mental health services in a middle school and high school, and that is something I'm very passionate about. So because mental health and wellness continue to come up in all of these different conversations, I decided to switch gears a bit. Season 2 is where I really started to focus in on mental health and wellness. I started interviewing experts in the field. I interviewed chiropractors, Reiki masters, therapists. I had episodes about trauma, eating disorders, disordered eating, addictions to different substances, our addictions to phones and social media, burnout, physical health, depression, anxiety, even finances, grief and loss, sexual health, EMDR, parenting, the benefits of nature. I interviewed all different experts in these mental health and wellness fields in all these different realms of wellness, and I loved it. It felt like something finally clicked. This is what I was meant to do. This was the right path, and I had finally honed in on what the podcast should look like and should be. Season 3, which you are listening to right now, is also about mental health and wellness, but again, I switched gears just a little bit. I wanted to hear more personal stories about mental health, so I started interviewing people about their struggles with mental health as well as their healing journey. I've been interviewing people about their experiences with trauma, addiction, different mental illnesses, autism, abortion, sexual assault, eating disorders, grief, and much more. I can't even explain how amazing it has been to be able to speak with people in all different countries, in Europe and Africa. I've spoken to people in Australia, Canada. I mean, technology is just so amazing. I have literally been speaking with people across the world. And you don't know this, but sometimes these episodes are recorded at 6 a.m. because it is nighttime in the other person's country. And I am not a morning person, so that just shows my dedication to this podcast and sharing people's stories, because there are very few things that I will get out of bed for at such an ungodly hour. I love hearing people's personal stories, and I love being able to connect with people from all across the globe. And I love sharing those stories with you, so I really hope that you've been enjoying hearing them. I've been talking to people from all different walks of life. I've learned so much from my guests, but also from you, my listeners. It's been an incredible journey, and I've grown a lot from doing this podcast and interviewing these incredible guests I've had the privilege of speaking with. It's funny because even though I've been interviewing people from across the globe, there have been some common threads. A lot of people have brought up IFS, internal family systems, and EMDR as treatments that really helps them through their trauma. I even have some books that come up on the regular. The Artist's Way, Atomic Habits, and The Body Keeps the Score. I've read Atomic Habits, incredible book, highly recommend it. I've read half of The Artist's Way and done half of the morning pages. That is something I always want to get back into. I was hoping to this past summer, but sadly I did not. But that is definitely something that I want to do. And I have not read The Body Keeps the Score, but it is something that is always recommended. I constantly hear it, especially in my line of work. So that is definitely a book that needs to be at the top of my reading list. I hope that you've enjoyed my first 100 episodes. I cannot wait to see what's in store for my next 100 episodes. And I would love to hear from you. Please email me and let me know what you want to see from me. Which topics do you want me to cover or do you want to see discussed? And which kind of experts do you want to see me interview? Did you prefer hearing my interviews with experts or personal stories or a mix of both? I would love to hear what you preferred and what you really connected with. I'll have the links in the show notes, but please email me at info@accordingtodez.com or you can message me on Facebook or Instagram. I would love to hear from you because after all, this podcast would not be possible without my listeners. So again, thank you so much for being on this journey with me. I really appreciate you. And to show you just how much I appreciate you, I have a very special freebie. You will find the link in the show notes. 100 Reasons to Smile. 100 Reasons to Smile for episode 100. Again, you'll find that link to download your free PDF on 100 Reasons to Smile in the show notes. Make sure you grab it today because it is here for a limited time. I may resurface it in the future, but for now, it is just here for my 100th episode. I will see you next week for episode 101.